Know who's in your community and know where your community stands. We've seen a lot of stuff happen this week, at least I have, that I would have seen 20 years ago. There's no longer men for the most part in this world. There's males that are bitches. We've seen it from Legally Armed America, which he's a certified bitch. We already knew that. We had something else going on. I talked about it on a couple of live streams. I really didn't want to make a video about it just because, like, I'm just burnt out on the drama. But this deserves a video being made about it because you need to learn from this. You need to weed the rats out of your community. And what I mean by rat, I'm not necessarily talking about somebody that snitches. I'm talking about crybaby bitches. Because when you got a crybaby bitch in your community, that crybaby bitch puts themselves above all else. I mean, if it comes down to you eating, or them eating, or you all sharing a meal, they're going to choose them eating. If it comes down to you going to jail, and them testifying on you, or both of y'all sitting in jail for a few days and then both of you being let go, they're going to choose to tell on you and go home right away. A couple of days ago, Restore the Republic. Overtime, Restore the Republic, I think it's 1776. Might be Restore the Republic 76. I don't know. I ain't really paid that much attention, to be honest with you. It's not like he was one of my favorite creators. But when I did watch his videos, it was like, I actually called one of my subs who actually turned me on to the dude. It was like, they're saying something ain't right with this guy. Something ain't right with him. He's got a loose wire somewhere. He's paranoid or something. I don't know. Every now and then, though, I'd watch his videos. But every time I watched one of his videos, he'd make public statements that just were absolutely false. One of them was about Cashapp in Missouri. So, I know Patrick. Patrick's one of the dudes that sat down and drew it up. Was there when they was drafting it, putting his input in on it. I simply said, look, man, you're giving bad information. That's exactly what I said. You're giving bad information. That's not what Cashapp does. I haven't watched a video of his since then. Well, no, my bad, I did. Hold on. I watched a video last week, and he said he got arrested for driving without a license, and then he had multiple firearms in the vehicle that were loaded with no carry permit. His excuse was, well, I didn't know that was against the law. That's a stupid law. Well, no shit. Every law's stupid. I didn't say nothing in that video, though, even though I wanted to. But a video popped up the other day, and it's him. For some reason, it's my feed. I just always hit go and just let him play. He's crying because his in-laws, he's lived at their place for like 10 years or something. He's got 4 kids and a wife. Apparently, they live downstairs. From what I gather, what someone told me to, one of his subs. Don't know if it's a separate threshold or the same threshold. It doesn't matter. Father-in-law don't want to park in the driveway, so he's got to park out on the road. Now to Tim, Restore the Republic 1776. Apparently, he took it as Grandpa's being mean to daughter, because he said before, in-laws are mean to the kids. Which if your in-laws are mean to your kids, why the hell are you at your in-laws' place, dude? Man up and get out. Everybody else, looking through the comment section before I actually left a comment, because I wasn't going to leave one for this video either, but I did. I'm going to get to my point here in a minute, why I'm making this video, but I did. I said, in-laws castle, in-laws rules. Don't like the rules? Don't be there. When everybody else was, oh, he's such an asshole. Oh, Tim, he's just being petty. Why is he being mean? Oh, Tim, you need a hug. Somebody jumps in the thread and starts on me. I've seen you before in here, and you ain't got nothing nice to say ever. I said, well, it's not that I ain't never got nothing nice to say. I usually never say anything unless something needs to be said. Guy comes back with, well, we're a tight-knit community. We've talked about you before in your comments. You don't really need to be here. I said, oh, no shit. I didn't know it said only comments that Tim likes right up there. I thought it just said comments. I mean, anybody could comment. That's fine. You're a tight-knit community and all. You do your thing. I just kind of left it alone. So I just kind of laughed it off. Well, the next day, Tim makes a video about me. somebody sends me a message like, hey, this video's got to be about you. I was like, yeah. I watched 4 whole minutes of the video. I was like, yeah, it's about me. So Tim insinuates in this video, because people that do shit like, for instance, legally aren't in America. Yeah, he always defaults to you're a drug user or a bitch. Go look at all his videos. Anybody he disagrees with. Which tells me that in his heart, he knows he's a bitch, and he's probably using drugs. He's probably using the meth, because people are apt to default to what they do themselves. So if somebody calls you a snitch, chances are that's what they are. They think because they do it, everybody does it. So he makes a video whining and crying about me. This guy, he's always got something smart to say. He says he knows 2 people that sit down at the table and drew up sap, and that wasn't what I said. I know 1 person. So get it right, dude. If you're going to make a public claim or a public statement, make sure it's right. Because when you give bad information, then you tell however many thousands of people that watch your video, or hundreds, whatever it may be, then they repeat it, and they repeat it and repeat it. And this is all bad information. When all you had to do was get the bill out and read it yourself. Laziness is what caused you not to do that. Probably the same reason you're still in your parents' house. So anyway, Grandpa was mad at him about parking in the driveway, which I'd be pissed at him too. You got 4 kids and my daughter living at my house, and you're supposed to be a man out taking care of them, and you just bought a $17,000 motorhome instead of getting you a place to live. I'd be pissed too if I was Grandpa. I didn't say all that, but I'd be pissed too. That's why Grandpa's mad. The kicker of the story. I get an email from GoFundMe about the GoFundMe for my cousin's death. 6 weeks after the GoFundMe started, or a month, or whatever it's been. Somebody claimed that somebody else had already paid all those bills, and that the GoFundMe was fraudulent. Now, I'm not one to really believe in coincidences. I don't. I've said that before. Nothing's a coincidence. And I don't give a shit. This is the GoFundMe thing is nothing. Like, I play games. I'm telling you, there's not a game in the world that I haven't played, or a game you want to be involved in with me playing, because I'm going to win. Because I study the rules. I know the rules better than anybody knows the rules. So here's what I did. GoFundMe contacted me and said, hey, somebody made a claim. I said, well, I guarantee it's nobody that donated to the GoFundMe, because I know it just happened the other day, and I don't believe in coincidences, so chances are that this is why this happened. So here's what we're going to do. You go ahead and assume it's a fraudulent GoFundMe. Then you can refund everybody that donated to it. But you don't have the permission to take money out of my bank account. And since it's done over the internet, you're going to have to call the feds and report some kind of potential internet crime has happened. When the feds get involved, and they're going to come at me, and I'm going to say, yep, it was all money went to my cousin. I gave him the money. He paid for it. Go talk to him. They're going to go talk to him and say, okay. And I'm going to say, now, what you need to do, which they don't normally do, but maybe they will, because it depends how far I can push it. They will go find out who made the claim and find out why they made it. I already know who made it. I don't know who, but I know what somebody in some community made it. And this person in this community, that's apparently a bigger crybaby bitch than the rest of them. I'm not saying it was Tim. It was one of them. Guarantee it was. I would bet my life on it. Is a bitch. And not a rat in the sense like, I'm telling on you because they didn't tell me for anything because I didn't do anything wrong. A rat in the sense that they will sell you out to save themselves. If you ever question anybody that's in your community like that, you need to get rid of them. They're a cancer. Their weakness will spread. It's like a virus. What I do think it says a lot about is their community, which we already knew this. There's Carol, is Catherine Montgomery's, I think her name, Carol Montgomery, I don't know, something like that. We already figured out a long time ago that she was a shit stir. Actually, the very first time that I ever mentioned, that channel, because I had mentioned it before, and I said, hey, y'all should go check this dude out. She had went and made a comment, and then I don't know, who knows what happened. Some drama shit. But what I think is the funniest about all of it is, some people prepare And they do everything to prepare. They do everything. They don't skip out on one to do the other. They do it kind of equally across the board, right? There's some, though, that like to skip out to do things like buy a motorhome, and they've never went to one firearms class before. So what I think is funny is watching people that have these communities with these rats in them. Again, rats, bitches, not rats, snitches, but then I guess in this case they're fake dry snitching. Oh, that's weird shit. Be careful who's in your community, man. I've dealt with people like this my entire life. You do not want a weak ass man in your community. You don't want a weak ass woman in your community. If there's a woman in your community that you couldn't walk up and punch in the face without the cops being called, you need to get rid of that woman in that community. Even if you got to get rid of that man, because that is going to be your weak link. If they have any use for government, that is going to be your weak link. I don't know. I'm probably just going to post this to Patreon for you guys. Just be careful, man. Just be careful. Shit's going to be getting real one way or the other soon. And the last thing you want is somebody that cares more about themselves than they care about you and your community. Each person in that community should care more about the community than they do about themselves. And each person in that community should have prepared accordingly across the board. If you got to have less food to go get more training, that's what you need to do. If you got to have less training to get more food, that's what you need to do. You need to equalize it across the board. But buying firearms and ammo and some other shit and skipping out on training does you no good. If you got a firearm and a bunch of ammo, you might as well give it to somebody else, man. Because I'm telling you, from experience, I remember the first firearms class I ever took. I remember about 4 hours into it. I remember stopping and thinking, I cannot believe I had owned a firearm before this. I cannot believe I carried one. I would have been better off with a rock than I would that firearm because of all I didn't know. Anyway, guys, have a good day. Stay armed. Get the rats out of your community. Be safe. And know who you're dealing with, man. There's some scumbag pieces of shit out there in the world.